amount of time, I was really impressed with the amount of outreach that we were able to do. But still, there was a lot of businesses. I roughly estimated there was about 1,000 businesses that would potentially qualify, and we had a fraction of those actually apply. The participating entity funds, this was the final count of funding that was spent by the different cities. From Paraguna on the bottom side, they had a single grant for $4,000, right up to the county at $1.6 million. And this was pretty much proportional to the amount of funds that we had, that each entity had. And so none of the entities did we spend all of the money that they had available, but we were able to spread it out and have most of the entities use a good chunk of their available money for the program. The total amount of awards was $2.6 million and change. And that's just a pie chart or a donut chart. I like the donut chart better than a pie chart. Anyway, so that's how it broke down. Total statistics, we received 171 applications. Remember, I figured there was about 1,000 businesses that could potentially qualify, and that was an estimate. So of that, we had 17% apply. Of those that applied, we had almost a 90% award record, and of our total awards, 52% of them were round two. So I'm really grateful we decided to do round two, because had we not, we would have eliminated half of them. They clearly had a need, but we wouldn't have been able to give them any funding. The average grant amount was that's a rounded number, but it was really, really, really close to $14,000. Total of all awards was $2.6 million. It was a good program. The grant committee, I can't say thanks enough to them. They put in, I did the math, we had 13 meetings for an hour or two each, that they got together with no pay, and they spent a lot of time and effort. The grant committee spent a lot of time outside of the meetings talking to businesses and coaching them, telling them, guiding them through the process. And I just can't say enough about them. They're stellar people. It was a good thing. It's always a good thing when you get interagency, working together on a project, because they're able to realize how more alike their separate entities are, and it was a really good thing. I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of thank yous from businesses. The second one, the CARES grant provided us much needed marketing and operations funds, and it's made a huge difference to our entire team. We were able to retain all of our employees far beyond the help and time period of the PPP loans, and visitors are coming back. The bottom one, we wanted to thank you for CARES grant money that has been given to our store. It will really go a long way to making sure we are able to move forward with the ongoing COVID-19 virus. Again, and I've said it a million times, but just like the virus is really selective, some people are fine, other people it just totally takes over their body and they struggle with it. Same thing with businesses. Some businesses were fine, and some businesses really, really got hit hard. In hindsight, as I look back on it, we had a lot more money than did go out the door. As I compared to some of the other counties that also ran a similar program, ours was monumentally successful. Tooele County, which is a little bit larger than us, they did about $600,000 in grants. So, as you compare that, ours was about 4 times more successful. I think if we hadn't been right on the heels of these other big grant programs like PPP and EIDL, we would have had all of our money out the door the first week. I talked to a lot of businesses that had received a lot of PPP money. A lot of businesses didn't apply just because they had already received some support, and they said, "No, we're fine. We've been impacted, but we'll get through this." And anyways, the PPP program, I think we'll look back. The historians will be very, very kind on it. I think it's been one reason why our economy is not in the depression, 1920s type depression. It did come at a huge cost, but it was good, at least at the county level and the city level, to be able to work one-on-one with these businesses, and it's been a good thing. It's been humbling, It's been all of those things. I don't plan on signing up for running another grant anytime soon. So if you got any ideas like that, have somebody else do it. But it has been a blessing in my life to see to really be boots on the ground and see it come to fruition. So I just wanted to report back on it and let everybody know of really what happened. So that's it.
And you've been tremendous on this. We appreciate you very much. Great job.
Thank you.
And thanks to the committee as well.
And by the way, not that it should be said, but Maria got the committee some gift certificates to a local restaurant in town. So they weren't compensated, but when we were done, we gave them a thank you note with a gift certificate.
Awesome.
So
thanks,
Great.
Maria, for doing that.
Great work by all of you.
and it was under the legal amount.
We run a tight ship here.
All right, we've taken care of number 5. We'll go to number 6, discussion and possible approval of 2021 commission meeting schedule.
Do you guys have any questions on that? So they're all Monday meeting. Oh, great. There are no Tuesday meetings. They will all follow on Monday because there's no holidays next year on Mondays. So, you guys have any
That's
questions
fantastic.
on it?
That's less confusing for me.
Yeah, absolutely, for us all.
No question.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve that schedule.
I'll move for approval of the 2021 commission meeting schedule as published by the clerk's office.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 2021 commission meeting schedule. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Number 7, Red Rock Bicycle Trails Maintenance Proposal. Mike?
Thank you, Commissioners. Just about a month ago, Red Rock Bicycle Company, who is owned by Ryan Gurr, who is sitting back there, met with us and made a proposal for maintenance on bicycle trails between Iron County and Washington County. One of the things that lack in when you're designing trails is the long-term maintenance. And that's probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is making sure there's some type of maintenance program. Red Rock Bicycle Trail has proposed that we split an employee they would hire, and we split between Washington County and Iron County. Washington County, they would work in the winter time, and as it got warmer, they would move up into Cedar City Valley on the benches on the trails that have been constructed, and then as it got warmer in the summertime, move up to the Navajo Lake and area and the Virgin River Trail. And the proposal, I'll probably let Ryan kind of speak to it and what he's done and the background and the support that he's got. So, Ryan.
So what we're looking to do is create a pilot program this first year where we do a public-private partnership where I will front 50% of the money, which is going to cost me about $20,000. And then I'm asking for Iron County to contribute 10 and Washington County to contribute 10, to where we'll create a full-time, 40-hour-a-week trail maintenance position to maintain the infrastructure that we have in southern Utah. What I've found over the years is there's always a lot of public appetite to build trails. There's not a lot of public appetite to help maintain those trails from a volunteer standpoint. So the 3 objectives of this program are going to be to maintain the trails, to organize trail volunteer days to allow the public to come and participate, and then to work with our competitive events from a tourism standpoint to help the trails be sustainable and put them in a better position than they were when the events came to town. My hope is that this first year is successful to the point to where we can expand it in future years. I think in southern Utah, one employee is a good start, but it's a little light. They're gonna have a lot of work ahead of them. We've received approval from the BLM field offices in Iron County and Washington County, as well as the Forest Service, to proceed. So that's kind of the breakdown. If you have any questions specifically for me that I could address.
Do the BLM and Forest Service do any of this work anymore? I know years ago I used to see a lot more of it done by them, but I don't know. I haven't seen much lately.
Yeah, due to funding constraints, they don't do much. They might do volunteer days, you know, give your lands a hand type events where they'll bring in a dumpster or something. But as far as regular maintenance, they don't have the bandwidth to do this, and they rely on volunteers. And you know, in southern Utah, we're considering mountain bikers kind of a future source of tourism. And so what we're essentially doing is building the trails, which is the equivalent of building a bathroom, but then asking the users to keep it clean. You know, so what I'm coming for is hopefully a plan that we can, you know, keep our area nice and people coming back.
Does this, Maria, does this budget come out of yours, or is this just out of our general fund? Where's the budget for this?
I mean, there's probably some money available, but I don't know if they haven't budgeted $15,000.
I mean, I don't know that we've really discussed this, have we yet?
I don't,
No, this just came up.
This just came up, so I don't know that we can approve this today, right? I mean, we'd need to talk to Dan and,
Washington County has approved the $10,000.
have they? Okay.
Yeah, last week I got approval from their tourism advisory board.
Okay. I don't know what
We're
they're
going to have our final budget hearing in our final meeting in December, so we could make our decision and then finalize then if Dan can find the money. And
that's
Maria,
Yeah.
just a thought.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, so my goal is, if all parties agree, to have someone to announce the job opening in December and hopefully have someone hired by January 1, so that since I'm putting this as a annual program, the closer I can keep it to just a calendar year, the easier it is for me for accountability coming in at the end of the year and showcasing hopefully the success of the program.
Are you going to treat this individual, the employee, as an independent contractor, or how?
I'm going to bring them on. So we're going to have a Red Rock Trail Crew initiative, and this will just be the first employee that we hire inside that. So we will treat them as an employee, so that we'll cover the workman's comp and the insurance that goes along with that.
What do you use for equipment? I mean, would you be, whether it's a public-private partnership, do you use some of our equipment that we have, the Bobcat or
They
the?
could if they needed to. I think they've got a trailer and a lot of the equipment already.
Yeah.
And so they would use whatever, and then if they needed some special stuff, then they can.
Okay.
Yeah, so I bought a trailer and I loaded it with tools and equipment to do trail days. So I've easily got enough tools for up to 6 people, which are like McLeod's, things that, you know, a lot of what we're going to do are hand tools. And then as we get into the Alpine, it'll be things like chainsaws to help put down trees.
Right, okay. And what kind of reporting would there be back to?
So
you know,
we're going to
because
put
this fund
together a monthly report that I'll submit to all of the community partners that will break down by hour where we were and what we felt we accomplished. And then I'm going to put together a quarterly review, probably virtually at first, just because it will cover Washington and Iron County, where partners can contribute to what the next quarter looks like. You know, so if Maria knows that she's got an event coming into town and an area could use a little bit of extra attention, we can direct our focus there. Or if the BLM wants to give us some feedback, we can take that as well. So we'll report monthly after the fact, and we'll, on a quarterly level, let you contribute. And then, like I said, for us, it's kind of a pilot program. So at the end of the year, you know, we'll take what we learned and hopefully build on it and look for ways to get better.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
My name is Ryan Gurr,
Ryan Gurr. Okay.
G-U-R-R.
Would you like a motion based on tentative?
Sure.
Okay, I move that we tentatively appropriate $10,000 from Iron County, half from tourism, half from general fund, or we'll talk about that. We're having a meeting actually today with Dan, so we can talk about this, our auditor. But anyway, tentatively based on approval in the next commission meeting, that we would provide a $10,000 commitment towards the Red Rock Bicycle Trails maintenance proposal.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as described. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Number 8, approval of contract for indigent Capital Defense Council service. Was Chad gonna cover that? Who was talking about that? Mike, were you?
I don't know who's going to talk about it, but I can see.
Chad was just here and he left. I assumed he might be gonna cover that. Hey, Terry, is Chad out there? Yeah, see if you can grab him. Thanks.
So I was the one that did receive the email on this,
Okay.
and I'm totally new to this indigent stuff. Let me see what I can find.
And this is this is the Capital Indigent Defense Fund, right? This is not
It's not Joanna Landau.
It's not Joanna Landau. It's not the Indigent. It's not the Indigent Defense Commission. It's the Indigent Capital Defense Council.
This is on a specific case, I believe, as I looked in the packet.
Okay.
I believe 2 or 3 cases that's all revolving out one specific homicide. The sheriff's office investigated. This is one particular individual. One. See if I can get my packet out open again. There were 2 attorneys that were listed on that one case.
Oh, Rudy Batista, Adam Elmore.
Yep, that was the one I looked at. And so when there's a capital case, the public defenders that the county has typically contracted with, they don't get those cases. There's a limited list of available attorneys in the state that are eligible to handle capital cases on a indigent defense basis. And so that these are the attorneys that have been selected to handle the case that I'm referring to.
So are they asking for? And so I sit on the board that manages these funds for the state, and I don't recall this. Well, I don't recall this, but with that being said, if it's a case involving Iron County, the board members are generally excluded from those discussions of cases pertaining in their particular counties. So is this requesting additional funds over and above what we already pay into the Capital Defense Fund?
I don't know. If you look on page 28 of 30 in your packet, that's where it's asking the contract to sign, or the county to sign. Iron County acknowledges and approves the foregoing contract of indigent counseling services, which has been negotiated and executed by the Indigent Defense Funds Board for the following criminal case, and then it lists it.
Did you get a hold of Chad or
I did call him. Oh, he's calling me right now. That's what I get for having it on silent. Hello.
This is probably just
I
the
have
contract
some
we would
questions. I
make
don't know
with
if
the
he's gonna
state
be
to
able to
get
answer them. This
money
is on
from
that
the state.
specific
because
case.
they provide the funding for these cases, I think, right?
Yeah.
And so we just a formality.
I would think so. Yeah, the
We provide 50 cents per person
Right.
in the county. into that.
yeah, and the fund balance, the fund balance in the Indigent Defense
They're
Fund
asking more
is
for
healthy.
this,
I
aren't they?
can't imagine that they would be asking for additional funding.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Chad was saying they're not asking anything more from the county, it's just that we're dipping into that fund that we pay into all the time anyway, and so this is just our acknowledgement that we're dipping into the fund for this case.
Perfect. Okay.
Interesting, because I know we have cases all the time that dip into that fund. I don't.
We don't.
Well,
Capital case.
well, there have been several cases. Well, for instance, Mayor and
was one of them.
the. I know that we use that fund every once in a while.
We just don't remember getting this contract.
Yeah, I'm not. I've never seen a contract like this before, but yeah, we certainly, as the county, cannot afford to provide defense. So by all means, that's why we pay into the fund. It's an insurance policy, basically, for these type of cases. So I would move for approval of the contract for Indigent Defense Fund Counsel in the specific cases outlined in the contract.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve this contract for the Indigent Capital Defense Council as Mike described. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Personnel, Jennifer. We're looking at assessor. Number 1, job description additions and pay rate adjustment for Tara Bird, DMV supervisor, effective date November 29th, 2020. You want me to you want to cover these? You want me to read them?
I'd be happy to cover them.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Good morning.
Thank you.
In the assessor's office, Melissa Houston has recently announced her retirement. Her position was posted internally within the DMV offices, and the following 3 positions I will cover will allow for a smoother transition after the departure of Melissa within the department. The first we have is that we've added many job functions to Tara Bird's job description, transitioning her to make her the main supervisor for both the DMV office and staff in Cedar as well as in Parowan. We're requesting a pay rate adjustment to make to reflect those added responsibilities for her, effective date 11/29/2020. And then Latanya Heaton was chosen after an internal department recruitment to be promoted from a DMV technician to a DMV Parowan office manager. And within this promotion, we are requesting her pay to fall within county guidelines, effective date 11/29/2020. And with Latanya Heaton moving to the Parowan office, Melissa Dalton will be transitioning from a part-time status to a full-time status to replace Latanya, and will be vacating, since Latanya is going to be vacating the Cedar office to the Parowan office, and that will be effective date 11/29/2020 as well. And I don't know if you want to approve those first before moving to the next 2.
Let's do
Or
that.
consider.
So do we actually have a reduction of 1/2?
We have 1/2 reduction that we will be discussing before we post that job description.
Okay, I move for approval of, in the assessor's office, the following personnel changes, job description additions and pay rate adjustment for Tara Bird, who will become the DMV supervisor, effective date November 29th, 2020. Also a promotion for Latanya Heaton from a DMV technician to Parowan DMV manager, backfill from upcoming vacant position, effective date November 29th, 2020, with the accompanying pay adjustment. And status change for Melissa Dalton from part-time status to full-time status beginning November 29th, 2020.
Second.
Been moved and seconded as described for the assessor's office changes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right. In the landfill, Jake Tibbetts was chosen during the most recent competitive recruiting and hiring process to fill the upcoming retirement vacant position in the landfill as the landfill technician, effective date 11/30/2020.
Right, I would move for approval of Jake Tibbetts as a new hire as a landfill technician. Note that it's a backfill of an upcoming vacant position due to retirement. Starting date of November 30th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to to fill that position landfill as described. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and in the USU Extension Office, Emma Whitmore was chosen during the most recent competitive recruiting and hiring process to fill the vacant 4-H Youth Programs Coordinator, effective date December 1st, 2020.
I move approval of new hire Emma Whitmore as the 4-H/Youth Programs Coordinator in the USU Extension Office, backfill of a vacant position, starting date November 30th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the new hire for the USU extension as described. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. All right. Very good. Moving to the non-delegated items, prairie dog matters. Prairie dogs aren't getting much love these days, are they?
I will mention.
Guess you got some water stuff you guys did recently, didn't you, Reed?
Yeah, we will mention just in passing that we had an annual meeting conference call on Thursday regarding the status and where we are with everything. And I will, as soon as I get a PowerPoint sent to me that the consultants put together, the state of Utah has hired a consultant out of the ESMF funds, the Endangered Species Mitigation Funds, to write what's called a conservation strategy, which purpose is to help prepare an explanation of how the dogs would be managed if they were taken off the endangered species list. So it's kind of a first step to getting there formally after we conclude what's has been done over the last couple of years for what we call a population viability analysis study that a doctor at the BYU has been doing and we've been working on. The population viability analysis will help show what really would be required to be able to delist. And then the conservation strategy, which is being prepared by this consultant environmental group out of Colorado that did a presentation the other day at our meeting that would show how the dogs would be managed going forward and how conservation would be achieved and the viability of the prairie dog would be able to be sustained over time without them being on the endangered species list. So the idea is the conservation strategy tries to explain, without the protections of the Endangered Species Act, how would the dogs be able to survive? And if they can show sufficient protections, management strategies, then it would help be able to delist. And so even though we have a new state director for Fish and Wildlife who at the meeting kept saying, you know, this isn't a guarantee that anything's going to happen. She was really reserved, but, you know, the momentum is really good for all of the other partners. And we've lost a couple of key people at Fish and Wildlife. Larry Christ, which was a good partner, and Laura Roman, who was the deputy field director for the state, have now been replaced. And you know, it's kind of educating these new people on all the work that's been done and the momentum that we have for a delisting proposal. So Chris Kelleher, who is the endangered species mitigation manager for the state under DNR, has been a great partner and is really the one that's kind of initiating this. And we've had some really good meetings and discussions about that. So once I get that proposal on a copy, I'll forward it to you so you can kind of see what the steps are going to be through this conservation strategy and maybe a schedule for a proposed delisting application. And kind of the good news is really good steps being made. Yeah. And Senator Romney has actually been really active in this with Scott Albrecht, who is his staffer, and attended one of the conference calls and is supporting it, and we can get the other delegation on board once we get the proposed strategy, the conservation strategy drafted. Then we'll get them a copy so that they can help march that through the system. So that's good news from that perspective.
Who are the new people? Anybody we know?
No, the gal's name is she's out of Montana. It's nobody that's been in the system, anybody that we know. So
did Laura retire? I know Larry.
Larry retired. Laura went to work for BLM as a regional T&E species, threatened and endangered species coordinator for BLM, the state, the regional level, but the office is in Salt Lake. So she's still involved and can help facilitate their review of proposals, because a lot of the lands are on BLM, and she'll still be helpful, but she's not part of the same role.
Okay, thanks for the update, Reed. Appreciate it. Any county board issues?
Yes.
Do you want me?
You go ahead.
Sorry.
It's your deal.
This is the one we've talked about when we lost Kendall Cripps. We've got a vacant seat sitting on the planning commission that we would like to fulfill. We would like to present Jim Byler, that is the ex-mayor from Cedar Highlands when they disincorporated, to have him fill that position, where we're in the process of redoing the zoning. The tier changed up there to get some input from him and the Cedar Highlands community. So we'd like to present Jim Byler to fill that position on the board for the planning commission.
Entertain a motion.
I would move for approval of Jim Byler as a member of the Iron County Planning Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Jim Byler as a new member of the planning commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And that's all we have now, but we are talking to a few others because we do have other members that have filled their three-year terms. So we're starting to contact some others to start in the next near future, so we can start changing them out at a little bit at a time.
Sounds great. Okay, thanks, Terry. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Terry.
All right, if there's no other issues we need to...
Can I just go back to commission comment?
I'm sorry, Mike.
I spent like 10
you had a
minutes.
video,
I
too.
spent like 10 minutes on this video. I spent a little longer than that, but I spent
You're not singing, are you?
No. I spent a few days on this video, but the actual production time is about 10 minutes. So if it's all up to Chenille. I wanted to, with all the negativity and everything, I wanted to just highlight a couple of things that have been awesome partnerships in the community and things that we've been able to accomplish just by by working together.
Hold on, I'm calling for help. Phone a friend. This screen over here that isn't working is just a total foul. Because they say that you can just...
No, I collect. I spent this last weekend in Kingman, Arizona, doing some work with my in-laws. And on the way down, I threw together a video. It was 27 minutes long. When I entered in a whole, I had a whole bunch of cool pictures from a lot of things, and I'm like, nobody wants to watch this for 27 minutes, and so I've edited it down to 2 minutes.
I didn't know you were a budding film producer.
I didn't either until this weekend.
Anytime.
What's that?
I've seen other videos that's been done.
Well, there's been some tomfoolery, but this isn't one of those. This isn't tomfoolery.
You guys, I'm not a tech savvy person, and I really just thought, oh, this will work out great, but... I know. I phone a friend. So I need this video to play from my screen to there. See, it's just that easy sometimes.
So,
Oh, it's saying it can't play. But let's.
There's some switch. I've never been able to get the screen to go on here today.
get mine to work
I wonder
today.
if there's something that needs to be put in there or something. Probably needs to do something.
Right click on it. You open with.
Are we still on for 2:30?
Yeah.
Are we meeting here?
Yeah.
good morning. I'd like to take 2 minutes and share some of the things that we have accomplished by working together as a team. Oh, it's coming. the airport class yesterday. Almost ready. This is the SUU testing center. That's my wife laying flooring in the testing center. Kind of despite her objections.
That's your better 7/8.
That's right. You know how to put up the tent. This is fireman. Trying to figure out how to set temperatures.
Convert 20 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit.
That would be 68
68.
degrees Fahrenheit.
There we go,
What
68.
I didn't get recorded was about the 3 minutes before that of all sorts of tomfoolery trying to figure that out. I don't got the end of it, but
Good job. Thank you for that.
uh,
That was great.
just think of something positive. We have some awesome people in the community that work their butts off to make things happen, and we all appreciate them.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We all work on my video editing skills. One another day there'll be something more spectacular.
All right. Well, Chair declares this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.